guys, Tighebo here. We're back with another reading of fanfiction. This time we're back with Expect the Unexpected Chapter 8. So we're back from Ruby Liang. Last chapter, we just did night 4. And I think she was on a sugar rush, so she was a little more crazy than normal. But we love her anyway, so. And I believe the last we left off is she fell asleep, like she flat out did she lay on the table or did she just sit down by the table? She did one or the other. I know she did that. But yeah, so let's go see the next day. Whew. So we're on chapter 8, and this is called Planning. The cleaning crew were dumbfounded to find the sleeping guard. Strangely enough, when they approached her, she woke up immediately. Unfortunately for them, her instinctual reaction was to lob a paint balloon straight at them. She blinked bluely for a moment before scowling. Why'd you wake me up? I was having such a nice dream. She climbed off the table and headed in the general direction of the door. Okay, so she was laying on the table, I'm guessing. She yawned as she mumbled something about paint before disappearing. What is wrong with that girl? One person asked, while the one who was hit scrubbed at his pink face. That's what I like to know, Bonnie muttered under his breath while he watched the scene out of the corner of his eye. Ruby fell face first onto her bed with a groan. She hadn't been this tired in ages. It was a good tired, though. Turning her head so she didn't suffocate in the blanket, she stared out of her window and at the lightning sky. I should probably wash my hair, she murmured, as she felt the itch of dry paint on her head. Bonnie's a good shot. Against her will, her eyes were drifting shut. Maybe later, she yawned, rolling over. Staring at the darkness behind her eyelids, she reflected on what had happened that night. Bonnie seemed to have some fun at least, she mumbled again, a smile twitching the corner of her mouth up. Reminds me of the good old days. And talking to Foxy again is awesome. She drifted off to sleep like that, memories of brighter times flitting across her tired mind. Loud noises from downstairs woke Ruby up, and she glanced at the clock before settling into the furious that someone woke her up too early mood. It's 11, she moaned into her pillow. In the morning! Don't these people have any idea that I work the night shifts? After listening to the yelling for a moment, she determined that it was coming from outside the house and that one of the voices was Ricky. She was lost in thought for a moment. Isn't Ricky supposed to be at his friend's house? It's Friday. He always has plans on a Friday, as long as it's holiday. She frowned and tried to identify the other voices. They weren't familiar in the least, but definitely seemed young. About Ricky's age, maybe. And Ricky sounded kind of angry. Ricky was never angry, since he was one of the sweetest kids she had ever known. Older sister instincts kicking in, she managed to drag herself out of bed and towards the door. Oh, she turned her head while the room spun. Sugar hangover. And this was why she didn't actively try and reach a sugar high. The after effects were awful. Finally grabbing the door handle, she stumbled out of her room and down the stairs. Her first stop was the kitchen, since the headache was drowning the sister instincts at this point. Pouring herself a glass of ice water, she downed the contents before refilling it. Feeling marginally better after the first glass, she turned and headed towards the front door. She passed the mirror on the way and paused to look at her reflection. Wow, was she sporting one heck of a bedhead? She grinned. Had to be one of her best ones, and that was probably because of the faint paint forcing it up in random directions. Like, oh my god, like the anime characters! Like those anime characters who have gravity-defying spiky hair. Like, seriously, how'd they do it? Like, wow. How do they defy gravity? She's now an anime character, Ruby. Okay, sorry, continue. She chuckled to herself. I wish I could have paint points with Bonnie more often. She was a great shot. She scratched her head as she looked thrust herself over. She wasn't exactly in perfect condition, but she wasn't in hiding your room while trying to bring about a presentable appearance bad. So she shrugged and headed out the door. The moment she opened the door, the yowling reached full volume and insulted her ears, and by extent, her headache. She groaned and glared at the kids standing in the front yard. Ricky was standing near the fence, fists clenched at his sides, glaring at a bigger boy who stood in front of him. There were three strangers, two boys on either side of the big kid. He had her sugar hangover and sleep-deprived brain. Oh no, wait, sorry. Even through her sugar hangover and sleep-deprived brain, she could already tell what was happening. Bullies. Being the sweet kid that Ricky was, he tended to attract his fair share of bullies. Of course, none of them stuck around for long when they met his big sister. She grinned sadistically. Ooh, this is good. After all, this was her home turf. She spent a lot more time on this property than at Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. Look at what she could accomplish there. Oi! She yelled. Sorry, that probably wasn't very loud, oi, but I don't really want to go that loud. But, yeah. She yelled, causing them all to jump and look at her. Of course, the bullies broke out laughing at the sight of the pink-haired teen, but she flat out ignored them and looked at Ricky. Thought you were heading to a friend's today, Ricky? She asked. I was, but I had to come back to fetch something. He looked up at her curiously. Her his anger forgotten for the moment. What's with the pain? Ain't that at work? Ruby waved her hand innocently, as if that was an old statement, as the bullies stopped laughing when they realized they were being ignored. What'd you come back for? A game. Ricky was cut off by Bully 1. What a weirdo. So you're not the only one? Who's this anyway? He sneered. My sister? Ricky trailed off as he recognized that certain shining eyes that showed when she was in an extra sadistic mood. The idiot laughed. Your sister? So the weirdest family trait? And just who are you, brat? Ruby raised her eyebrows and asked in a tone that would have had the animatronics running from the hill. The kid rattled off his name, which Ruby forgot instantly as she had decided on her own name for the brat. Listen here, Zitz. Are you causing my kid brother problems? Because if you are, you're in some serious trouble. What? The boy screeched at his new nickname. So then, Zick and the Acme gang. Quit with the squeaking and answer the question. What are you doing here? She smoothly talked over his furious protest. You, do you know who I am? He yelled at that prestigious, my daddy is important and so going to punish you way that seemed to afflict many rich, spoiled kids. Ruby stared at him, blinked once and then twice before answering. Zit and the Acme gang? Seriously, maybe you should get your hearing checked. Or your memory. It was like the last thing I said. The boy dissolved into furious spitting while Ruby stared at him, waiting patiently for an answer. You stupid short tramp! He yelled. The fact that an 8-year-old had said that didn't really stir on her brain, as her mind only latched onto one word. Ooh, what word did it latch onto? Short? Growled dangerously. Ricky gulped nervously. Sid smirked, thinking he had hit the right sore spot while his lackey snickered. Yeah, sure. How old are you anyway? And what's with the paint, Shorty? Get the dye mixed up with the paint? Zit laughed. Ruby stilled for a moment before smiling brightly. Ricky broke out in a cold sweat. Back off, Ricky. Back off, back off, back off. Run. That could not be good. Oh, is that what you think, honey? Nice to see that the youth of today are so straightforward and honest. Her smile was kind of creepy. Huh? The enemy's gang stared at her in confusion. Although, I don't really appreciate your comments. But I'm going to teach you a very valuable lesson. She smiled sweetly. Listen, what are you talking about, you weirdo? Zit glared at her. Ricky was starting to edge away from the obviously doomed kids. That's right, Ricky. Back off, back off, back off. Get out the war zone, quick. Yes, just because it's holidays doesn't mean that children can't learn anything new. The smile then got distinctly creepy, and Ricky took off in a flat-out sprint. Well done, Ricky. Get out there. Get out of there. Well done. Ricky's got the right idea. These kids, though, they're so in trouble. Ruby brought out a remote. Ruby brought a remote out of her pocket and clicked the button. Immediately, the gates behind the boys shut with an ominous flash of metal. The kids jumped and looked back with wide eyes. Oh, the lesson is simple. If you can't say anything nice, then don't say anything at all. Oh wait, hold on, I said that wrong. Now, the lesson is simple. If you can't say anything nice, then don't say anything at all. Ruby said in a sing-song voice. I don't think that was very sing-song of me. It was kind of, yeah. She pulled some kind of bowl out of a bucket nearby. And I'm gonna make sure you remember this for a long, long, long time. She threw the bowl at their feet, where it exploded. The glare that cut at them was annoying. The smell that hit them was even worse. As they began to gag, Ruby pulled on a gas mask that she had produced from somewhere. She was like a cartoon character, this one. Skunk spray, she explained as their eyes began to tear up. Nasty stuff, hard to come across, but so worth it. Somehow her evil grin came across, even behind the mask. The boy spun around and tried to pull the gate open, only to fail miserably. Ruby cackled as she threw more stink bombs at them. They gave up on the gate and tried to run around with her towards the backyard. Unfortunately, if you didn't live there, you wouldn't know that the backyard was pretty heaven for Ruby. First, they hit tripwire, which caused them to stumble, and more importantly, get doused in sparkling glitter and fused pink paint. Backpedaling from that led them to falling into a sand pit. The sand stuck in the paint as they pulled themselves up, only to notice that the lawnmower had somehow started up and was gunning them down. Shrieking, they ran over in Ruby's direction, who rolled her eyes at their dramatics. She pulled off the mask as she held up the remote again. Like she would actually let them be lawnmowered. She cut the power to it when it got close, using the remote, and watched them hit another straight wire, this one covering them with a wire net. A lovely sticky wire net. Glue is a wonderful thing. Yeah, it sounds great. Groaning, they looked up as the camera flash went off. She was grinning down at them medically. Learned the lesson? She asked sweetly. They nodded frantically, eager to get out of the tramp-filled yard and away from the crazy girl. Yay! I should become a teacher. No, you shouldn't. No, you shouldn't. He cheered while they paled at the thought. Eventually, she let them out of the net and led them to the gate. As she opened it, and before they could run off in all their stinky, sparkly, pink and sandy glory, Ruby couldn't resist throwing in one more prank. They had called her short, after all. Age did not excuse that level of stupidity. She was famous in this area, after all. Have a cookie. The frozen cookie covered the boy in streamers as she turned around happily, and walked back to the house where Ricky had taken cover at the beginning. And boy, was he smart to do that. Entering, she decided on a shower as her head was just too itchy for the paint now to ignore. Ricky, it's safe now, she called. The kid's head popped out over back to the sofa. She tossed him the pitcher and grinned at his hysterical laughter. So, what was their problem? She asked once he had quieted down. Field sounds nervously. They've been picking at me for a while. Ruby raised her eyebrows, silently asking for elaboration. Ricky sighed and slumped against the couch. They just like to bother me, all the time. They saw me today, followed me here, and started teasing me about, you know. His eyes grew sad as he looked down at his hands. I don't think I'll go back to his house today. Ruby paused and then turned to walk over to him. She kissed his forehead, causing him to look up in surprise. Just as the old psycho sister's back. She grinned at him. He's eating fast food. Ricky beamed up at her. You're the best psycho sister ever. Ruby laughed. I know. Just give me 10 minutes to wash my hair, and then we can head out. I did promise to make it up to you. You canceled yesterday. Or you did a happy million. Yes. Ruby laughed again. What are you in the mood for? Pizza! Ruby yelled. Ricky yelled, sorry. Rudy didn't miss a step. Cool. I can get to employee discount. She's back! Took a hiss, Freddie causing his head to whip around. And so she was. Pushing open the door, the light grows from the number of plates. Hi, Ruby. Jerry, nearest the door, asked in confusion. Suddenly, a young boy bounced through the door behind her and ran into the pizzeria. Hey, Jerry, here's a customer today. Ricky's desiring to get pizza. She pointed towards the hyper kid who was looking around in excitement. I see. Well, there's an empty table over there. Jerry pointed to a break table near Pirate Cove. Ruby grabbed Ricky's collar before he was down out of sight and pulled him in its direction with a wave at Jerry. Come on, Squirt. You want a pizza, right? Ricky grinned up at her. Can't we get a break from her? Bonnie groaned. Surprisingly, though, Ruby only seemed to give Ricky some instructions, pointing to some rooms. Of course, she pointed to Pirate's Cove, poor face panting on the desk and pulling asleep. Ricky certainly didn't seem fazed as he ran off to enjoy the pizzeria. Yeah, she's just weird. Chica shook her head as they watched the off-duty security guard snooze at the table. Yeah, this gives everyone that impression. A voice caught their attention. The free bucks looked down at the growing boys. They all pushed aside their annoyed feelings and smiled at the kids. They had a job to do after all. Hey there, first time Freddy's? Bonnie asked. The boy shook his head. I've been here before, but when I was really small. So you work with Ruby? Yeah, Chica forced a smile. Sure do. Ricky stared at him for a moment, where his expression became sympathetic. Wow, she really did a number on you, didn't she? Huh? Bonnie asked. Ruby's really good at annoying everyone. Sounds like she is. So I've become really good at noticing when people have been rubbed. It's basically Ruby and Edith. You're definitely victims. He looks very serious. Glitter Bine's Bonnie's ears drooped. Were all the answer he needs. Hold Bonnie's drooped ears were all the answer he needed. Yeah, but she's really nice when you get to know her. She's the best sister, you know. She's not bright like before smiling a kid for kissing you. Well, bye. Give her a chance. She's really fun. He ran off to join the group. Nice kid. Bonnie as they all glanced back at the sleeping night guard. I should just quit, though. Jacob mumbled. Freddie sighed as he watched the kid run around. How would he react? How would he react if his sister didn't come home one day? Ruby woke up to hunt Ricky down and order him pizza, then again to introduce him to Foxy. Pirate Cove was busy that day, though, so they couldn't talk much. So Ruby took Ricky home after about an hour. She still needed sleep after all. This night was guaranteed to be difficult, as Foxy had warned her. Naturally, the employees found the place booby-trapped again, even though she had slept most of her visit. How the hell did she do this? There were now paintballs in every trash can and glitter mines in the vents. She'd even swapped out every staff member's lunch with the exploding version. Exploding peanut butter and jelly sandwiches were not pretty. Neither was exploding salad. Or pudding. Oh, the pudding was never going to come out. And we'll never know what it was going to not come out of. But, yeah. Who knows? Maybe it'll reference in the future. But, probably not. So, yeah. Hope you enjoyed Chapter 8. I know I did. I really like this. Also, I think I forgot to mention, but if you want to check the chapter out, as well as future chapters, in the description below, there are literally over 100 chapters of Florida's fanfic, so, yeah. Go check it out if you want. It's a great story. Ruby is awesome. And, yeah. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, like, please subscribe, comment down below if you want any more fanfiction. I'm thinking of doing a League of Legends one, although I might cut it down because the chapters are so long, and I can't go that far. So, yeah, probably cut those down into parts. So, yeah, and be sure to follow me on Twitter. Link to that in the description, as always. And I will see you guys tomorrow with another video, maybe, if it doesn't get blocked. Who knows? Anyway.